go now to Bernie Sanders, who is joining us, I think. Are you in New Hampshire, sir?
I'm in Vermont.
And you're
Vermont is the people's New Hampshire.
Right.
New Hampshire's the 1% of Vermont. I would never step foot in New Hampshire until the primaries.
Okay. Well, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I would like to say hello to you and to your listeners, specifically the ones who make less than $47,000 a year. Those are the hardworking Americans that I'm here to represent. Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah. Well, what about the other people that are making 50, 55, even 100,000?
Oh, you mean the Rockefellers of the United States that are sucking wealth out of the middle class, the hardworking middle class that's composed of people that work in coal mines and chimney sweeps? I have nothing to say to those people.
Yeah. So, what exactly is why do you think you've connected to the people so dramatically now?
I think we're finally awaking as a country that wealth is entirely dependent upon theft. And they're understanding that the way to handle it is to either take the money of rich people or potentially break them into smaller organs in pieces and redistribute them to the masses. And I am the only person that wants to actually take blood out of Jeff Bezos and resupply it to other more hardworking people.
You actually want his blood?
Yes.
Yeah.
That way, at that point, because you have access to the bank account if you have blood. Not a lot of people know that. But there was a law in the 70s that if you get somebody else's blood, you have some recourse to their checking account.
I don't think that's true, sir. Now, some of the proposals that you're making they sound like the former Soviet Union.
I will acknowledge they are robust proposals to try and save the United States from descending back into a plutocratic hellhole where aristocrats with top hats are beating coal orphans with whips for their amusement. Yes, Glenn, if that's what you mean.
People haven't worn top hats for a very long time, around the time of Abraham Lincoln, I believe.
And that is entirely due to the New Deal of FDR. If it weren't for FDR, there would be top hats everywhere and coal orphans living in caves.
So you're for the Green New Deal, I suppose.
I had a lot of problems with it, as I imagine you did. I thought it was fairly anemic and very tiny in its scope. I thought it could have been 3-4 times more robust than it was. And when I'm elected president, I will make a hyper neon Green Deal that's new.
A hyper
neon new Green Deal.
Okay, and what's in that hyper new Green Deal?
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that. I know you and I don't always see eye to eye.
Yeah,
however, I appreciate being able to spell out the policies. These are important to the working people of the United States.
It's okay.
The number one thing, Glenn, is Medicare for all. Now, I know what you're going to say, Glenn. You're going to say, how can the United States afford to pay for Medicare for all of the people of the entire planet Earth? And I tell you, we have enough money to do that, and it is unconscionable
Wait a minute.
that the wealthiest country in the history of the world can't give health care to everyone on Earth.
So you want Medicare for all, for everybody.
For everyone on Earth, and if there are other planets that have life, we will also give it to them. But right now, everyone on Earth.
Okay. So do we have borders in your world?
Yes, we do. We do have borders because you have to be aware and conscious of rich people from other countries. You have to be able to stop them from coming in.
So you have borders around rich people?
Yes. Ideally, we would not let in anyone from the Cayman Islands or from Switzerland. Those two places are awful. And if we do not outright declare war on them, we should quarantine them.
Okay. All right. How do you, for instance, New York just rejected, Amazon, and they said New York doesn't need Amazon's jobs. We create thousands of jobs every month anyway. We're bigger than Amazon, and you killed 25,000 jobs.
That Glenn, this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how the economy works. The economy naturally produces wealth. It comes up, it kind of bubbles out of the ground. Like you're probably a proponent of trickle-down economics. I'm a proponent of dribble-up economics, like from a septic tank. It rises from the bottom, and it just naturally happens. And evil people take more than their fair share. So the job of the government is to allocate theft, which is what all commerce is, into smaller units that are more equally distributed. And the people of New York did that. They saw the benefit in having a type of leader who is a technocrat with a sweater vest and having them in charge of money. That is the future of mankind, Glenn.
All right. So, Bernie, there's been a lot of dirt that has come out on you. That essay that you wrote about how men have a fantasy of women on their knees, bound and gagged and beaten. That's their sexual fantasy. And women, they're fantasizing about being raped by 3 men at once.
Glenn, that essay was a long time ago. I believe that was 1973. which is also the last time I had sex.
Right.
I have not had any relations since that time. I believe I should be expunged due to the good behavior that I've had.
Of not having any sex.
None at all. None at all. And until everyone's having an equal amount, I refuse to engage in carnal relations with any Americans.
Right. Okay. Are these things being like the videotape of you praising, Castro's revolution? You still stand by that?
Castro was a great leader and a great man. He did a lot. He brought universal education to the island of Cuba. He was a fanatic for cigars. But they were also made by good working Cubans, and he was an excellent baseball player, which I myself am a fan of. I don't know if you know this. I'm originally from Brooklyn, and the Brooklyn Dodgers were there until capitalists stole them and sent them to Los Angeles.
Okay, but Castro himself was a killer. I mean,
Castro had a couple of details. All leaders have a couple of things that maybe are foibles that they have to deal with. I frequently am criticized on my fashion because I like to store the 2 suits that I own in a Pringles can. Does that detract from my excellent policy chops? I say no.
But having a crumpled suit and killing, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, that they're not, wouldn't compare them.
Again, I think the issue, Glenn, is we're trying to make a better, more just, more equitable society. Occasionally, people might die, but they will die less than in a capitalist system, which is based on making a puree out of workers and then giving it to cows to feed them, and then we eat the cows, and that creates gases. There's all sorts of cycles that I don't think you're acknowledging in the capitalist system.
Some might say that you're crazy, Bernie.
I am crazy, like FDR was crazy. I'm crazy for justice, crazy for equality. Does that make me crazy, Glenn? I say no.
Okay, all right. We'll just one more quick question. You've come out against Howard Schultz,
yes,
because he's wealthy,
yes.
But you said to run as an independent is horrible. You are an independent.
I am an independent strategically when it suits the ambitions of me and the working class people. Howard Schultz is a billionaire. Every billionaire is a policy disaster in the United States. I think his money should be taken, and every Starbucks should be converted into some sort of organic farming facility for iceberg lettuce, not for kale. Kale is the top 1% of vegetables. It's just for iceberg lettuce.
All right, so you're for the Democratic Party. All the rifts between you two have healed. There's nothing but love with you and the Democratic Party.
I am a strong proponent of the Democratic Party. I am enjoying the Democratic Party. I'm proposing legislation actively that we should all legally be friends. And I believe once that's passed, that we will usher in a new utopia.
All right. And but just if anybody wants to pitch in on your campaign, what do you recommend?
You can go to my website, Bernie Sanders, 2 suits and a crumpled PringlesCan.org. The other ones were already taken, unfortunately, but that one was still available.
Right. Okay.
And you can go there and donate on my Patreon account. And I'm trying to crowdfund a new state in between Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
A new state?
Yes, it's going to be Vermont too, and it will be Vermont, only slightly better. So there's a lot of projects to get involved in. The main one is to get me elected president. I think I'm going to pull it off this time. If I don't, I'm going to keep doing it at least to 2040.
All right. Thank you very much, Bernie Sanders, for being a part of the program.